So, Colin, where does your interest in plants lie?
Uh, well, I've tried a lot of different household plants like tomatoes and other stuff you actually let me have from your nursery. Nothing's really thrived, but I've recently taken interest in beer brewing, and so I've been interested in trying to grow a hops plant.
Now, what would you use the hops plant for?
Well, hops are used in beer to provide bitterness, and they've been used ever since like the 18th century because in beer you get alcohol from the fermentation of sugars, and sugars are known as malts. And really sweet beers have a lot of malt and no hops, but the best beers typically are a good balance of hops and malt because hops provide the bitterness and the malt provides the sweetness, and then they combine together to make a flavorful, well-balanced beer. So that's what I really want to have, is like my own hops, so I don't have to buy them from the store anymore.
So you're mainly interested in the flavor of the beer that you're making.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the breed and the variety of the hops, that can determine a lot about the quality of bitterness in the actual beer. There's actually a rating system for every hops plant called the, I think it's bitterness units ratings, like BU something or other. And each, how much bitterness each hops plants have. So I want to find out how I can balance that with my own plants.
And what is your favorite beer? And what would you say like the ratio of hops is in that type of beer?
Well, I like the balanced beers the most. I mean, beers with the most hops, like IPAs, a lot of people like because they're so incredibly bitter and flavorful. But my favorites are typically beers that have really nice balance of both. Like one of my favorites is called Red Tail Ale by Mendocino Brewing Company. And I'd say that's like, it's just got the perfect balance of just enough malt and sweetness to provide the alcohol, but also enough bitterness to make sure it's all just a really nice flavor package.
And how many hops plants would you want to grow?
Well, since you've been to purchase one from your nursery, I guess I'll start with one. But it'd be fun to have a few of them, different varieties and breeds, to experiment and see what different tastes I get out of them.
How much would you be willing to spend on hops plants?
Well, I guess it really depends. I have to find out with this first one, kind of experiment and see how long it takes for them to grow buds, which are what you use for flavor, and see if I can actually keep it alive for long enough to do that. But I think if I got good enough at it, and if like there came along a high quality enough plant that has a flavor that I like, I'd say anywhere from $30 to $40, depending on, because if it produces buds that I can keep using over and over again every season, that's a good investment. I don't have to keep buying 4 ounces of hops for $8, which is what I usually buy them for, and that's only good for about one batch. If I have a plant that can keep producing a lot of hops over time, that I only have to invest say $20 in, and it gets me 5 or 6 batches every year, then that's a good investment.
So are you interested in other plants which provide flavor for your beer, like rosemary or something else?
I've tried different other flavors to experiment, and I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just like the combo of hops and malt that make the best tasting beers. You don't really need much else. You can go foo-fooey with your apricots and whatever, but I think it's just better to just be simple and go for taste rather than some kind of like, oh, this is a cherry beer, ooh, I'm so fancy. I'd rather just have it be, this is hops and malt and they're good together. That's all you really need. All the extraneous stuff is never really necessary, so I'm pretty much just interested in hops.
Are you interested in apartment gardening?
Well, I don't really I live in a house, not an apartment, and I can't really have plants in my house because my Siamese cat is allergic to a lot of plants, and I don't really have room to grow the hops plants inside, so I need an outdoor place to grow in.
If you had more space in your apartment and you didn't have cats, would you want to grow plants indoors?
Well, I mean, the only reason I can really see to do that is for decorative reasons, and I don't really, not really into the whole plant decorating thing, so I just want something that's going to be useful.
Are you interested in growing tropical fruit?
Not particularly at the moment.
So your interest in plants lies in for beer purposes?
Pretty much, I'd say that's the extent of it. I don't really have much time to worry about anything else.
All right, well, thank you so much, Colin.
Sure.